our friends. Hello to our stranger friends. We got authors, we got aliens. Even got a chat room for our friends. We got Gab, we got Ghost, we got the hostess with the most, Renee. Take it away, Renee. What's the subject today, Renee? Take it away.
Says it's getting him. There he is.
Hello.
Hello, handsome.
Hi, how
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
I'm doing awesome.
I was a little confused, but I was like, oh, yeah, okay, now
It's all good.
I'm here. But we're here.
It's all
Yay.
good. We
Yeah,
are here.
how are you? Good.
I'm doing good.
Oh,
How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, thank you. It's been a long, eventful day, to say the least,
I
but a
have
good one.
no doubt. I have no doubt. I have no doubt. Well, I'm just going to say
Yeah.
right now, welcome to Renee Live, Victor and everybody else. Tonight's guest is Viktor Salazar, and he's an author. He's a paranormal investigator. He's a producer. He is a director, and he's also the show host of The Seance Room, which is a really cool show. If you guys get to watch it, go right for it on Friday nights at 9 o'clock. Right, Victor?
Yes, Friday nights. Every Friday, first Friday is an hour, and every Friday after that for the month, it's a 2-hour show. So we have some wonderful guests that come around, and we conjure up exciting topics of the paranormal. And it's been a really interesting journey, and we've connected with a lot of real cool, real authentic people. So it's great. It's great. It's a really cool show.
Yeah, it is a cool show. I love it. I've been on it, so I
Yes, we've
like
had
it.
Renee on it. So you know it's cool
I
when
know.
Renee is on the show, and which was amazing. Because when
Okay.
I remember a time I was on your show, and I always stated after that time that I tell everyone, man, that was one of the best interviews that I've had for a while, which was on your show, that last one that we did. And I was like,
Thank you.
okay, now I'm ready to get Renee on our show, and I want to pick her brain.
It was awesome. I had
It was
a
great.
great time.
It was wonderful. We
It was
enjoyed
fun.
having.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Hi,
It
Linda.
looks it looks nice out.
Oh my God, it's actually like it's kind of cloudy, but the peepers are all out tonight, and there's no mosquitoes, so I'm like really happy with
Great.
that.
That's good.
I put up a big
That's
shield
great.
around everything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The rain is
Awesome.
staying way out to the west, so
Hmm.
western part of New York, so we should have enough time to do the show without the rain.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes. We have some storm clouds rolling overhead, but I don't think it's going to be that bad. I don't think we'll get any hindrance or interference of any sort. So
Okay. Fingers crossed.
fingers
Could you
crossed,
all
but I'm certain.
definitely?
So
Can you all do me a favor? Can you all share this to your page? Do a watch party. And Linda, could you do me a favor, please, and post this on the Renee Live page just in case it didn't tag over to my show page? I would greatly appreciate it. So hello everybody
Linda,
and welcome again. Tonight's guest is Viktor Salazar.
yes, hello everyone. Linda's in the background, and she says she's 10 steps ahead. She's got a watch party going, the sharing going, so she's got her back.
Nice.
And she
Awesome.
says
Thank
hello.
you.
Hello to
I
you
love
and
that woman.
to everyone.
Hi
So
Linda.
yeah, it's been a hello everyone. I see some people. I recognize some names in there. How are y'all
Yes, I
doing,
do.
seance folks?
So my question to
Yes.
you, Victor, let's start out. Why don't you introduce yourself to everybody?
Sure. Wow, but to follow up your introduction is going to be a little tough. I am Victor Salazar, as stated. I am an author of An Honest Evil, a Deacon's Journal, which was released in 2016, published, and since then I've done book lectures, authors panel for the paranormal slash authors world in general under the genre of horror fiction. I've also have been involved in investigating the paranormal, investigating all around the world anywhere we can. Well, here in the States, with along with Linda, the other half of the whole. And so we've been to some interesting places, and we've kind of, it was a snowball effect. And from there, we've also kind of done some shows here and there, and podcasts and radio and all this other cool stuff. And currently, as if you guys know, right now we are doing the Seance Room, and which is exploding and which is getting even better. And so yeah, I wear many hats. I do a bit of everything. So on the side, I do some singing. I do some blues singing, guitar playing, and yeah, and I'm really fortunate enough to delve into the world of producing and directing, and I'm really excited about the projects ahead, in which I'm sure we'll probably touch a little on later in the show. So, but yeah, and I'm also both Lynn and I ordained deacons, and so there's just so many things. I don't know where to begin, but let's just say it's a whole gumbo of cool stuff under the paranormal umbrella, if you will. I hope that's okay.
Nice. And it's awesome. No, it's awesome. And I have to say, I am so excited about November and getting to investigate with you and Linda and Kalila and the Southern Gypsies, and all the public is invited to come. It is a paid investigation, so the public, the tickets, I believe, are going to be $25 for anybody in the public who wants to attend. And you get all these professionals in the paranormal field that are going to be at this investigation. I mean, how much more and how more inexpensive can you get to spend 3 hours with these ladies and gentlemen investigating a mall that is on the New York State Haunted History Tour, the trail. And
that's going to be
amazing.
really cool. Yeah, we are really stoked. We're really excited. And as Renee said, oh my gosh, November is going to be an exciting month for us, not only personally, but all the way around. We get to sit and chat with Renee and be there in the same room. That's going to be cool. We have Kalila Smith along with her, right, and all many others she mentioned. And it's going to be a good time had for that full weekend. I believe it's a full weekend, right? Correct?
Nope,
Friday, Saturday.
It's just a day for the public, but
Yes,
we have other things
public.
planned for all of you guys that we're going to be spending the whole weekend together and doing a lot of fun stuff. We're going to make the most of that whole weekend with you guys.
It's going to be an amazing weekend. So you guys listening and watching, you all look it up. Y'all got to check it out. Really, for real. I'm serious. It's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to connecting and meeting with everyone and sharing and whatever comes our way. We're pretty much ready for it.
Donna wants to know. Donna has the cars that are going to be there, Toe Tagger and Allie.
Oh,
the hearse, and she wants to know if you would dance with the witches, because she's also a part of the witches.
I will dance with the witches. I will. I'm in. I'm down for it. Just let me know what I got to do, and I will. I'm all there. I'm all for it. I'm stoked now. I'm fine now. I'm like this. I have it's funny because we were just doing our normal daily routine. What is normal for us, right? But we came across this antique composition witch, and she stands about 22 inches high. And as a kid growing up, I was always fascinated and told the story of Baba Yaga. And for those of you that may not be familiar with her, she's the Russian folklore witch of Russia. And this composition witch looked just like her. She's totally amazing. She's pointing her finger like this, and she has these beads around. And I said, I have to have her. So here we are. We go pick her up. We bring her home. And I'm looking at her, and I'm like, you know what? She looks like one of those dancing witches, and I was like, cool. So this kind of, this is pretty cool. But yeah, I'm in. I'm all down. Donna, let me know what I got to do. I'm there.
You know what? I might even join you.
There you go. See, we got that. There's that's the other one. Linda was going to try and show one of our witches, but we have a collection of witches. But this one I'm really happy with. I'll post pictures on later or something. She's really cool. She's really awesome, unique, very detailed, and I love her. And I named her Baba Yaga. So
Baba Yaga.
Yes, and she came from a collector that collected witches. And too, oh, Linda's bringing her to me if you guys don't want to see. There she is.
Oh, wow. Look at that. I love it.
There we go. Here's my partner
I
right
think I
now.
have
Look at
ancestors that look like that.
that. Yeah. Look how detailed that is. Isn't she
Yeah, that's
amazing?
great.
And it's
That
like she's
is
pointing the
awesome.
finger like, all right, I'm watching you.
My grandmother used to do that. She used to
The finger,
point
right?
the Italian finger. Yeah,
There you go. I'll just have her sit right next to me. So
there you go. It's kind of
you'll,
like
you'll
she's
just,
pointing at you to make sure you behave
yeah,
yourself.
she's keeping an eye on me. But I'm really, yeah, I love her. She's awesome. She's really
Nice.
awesome. So yeah, I'm down for that, Donna. That's awesome. So cool. When I heard you guys were coming and I saw it on the flyer, I was really excited because I had seen previous videos of the dance and all that. I was like, oh, that's cool. I want, I'll get up there and shake a tail feather or two. I'm down with that. Renee's coming, right? You're coming in. You're joining, Renee.
Yeah, I'll join. I'll join.
There
Why
you go.
not? I'm gonna have my 1800s dress on, my nice scarlet red
Ooh,
and black dress
beautiful.
on that day. Yeah.
Nice. That's nice. I love
I sort
that.
of have to get it hemmed a little. It's like almost a foot too long because, I'm so tall that it's sort of like, yeah. And
I,
we're starting
yeah,
the
yeah.
tours, the trolley tours. We're starting them in October. So
Oh,
that's what
wow.
we're wearing for the tours, but I want to wear it to the event that day.
Oh,
So
that's gonna
yeah.
be beautiful. That's gonna
Yeah.
be beautiful. We are very excited again to see all the different people, and it's a great recipe for a great couple of days for those for the public, the day that it's open to, and for those also that are just there in attendance. And so many vendors I'm hearing, and readers, and we even have, if I'm correct, we even have a MUFON section and a
Yeah, we're going to have
cryptozoology
a
section
movement
set up.
section and a
How cool is
cryptozoology
that?
section.
I mean,
Yeah.
how cool is that? You know what I really like, and then what I think is most fun is that all of this is taking place in the mall.
Yeah.
That to me is unique and fresh, and it kind of takes me back because the mall thing is in right now. When you think about it, with Stranger Things, taking us
Hmm.
back to this the era of nostalgia with the whole '80s vibe, the mall. Everything happened in the mall, and this kind of brings a whole new level of paranormal and events and that sort of deal. So that's what I like about it. It's really cool. I think it's
What
great.
I like about it, Victor, and I was telling you yesterday, they
Yes.
call me and ask me to bring the events to them.
Yes,
And
yes, awesome.
I absolutely love it because every mall is haunted. I'm sorry. Somebody's died in every mall, whatever. This one has the old bar upstairs, and it's one of the most haunted areas. The book room
Mm,
is the most
wow.
haunted room there. Highly active. We've gotten them say, Renee, we love you. I've told you that. They've said it
Yeah,
over the
yeah.
spirit box. Um, I have the one that's very protective and possessive over me when I'm in the mall. He's right with me and doesn't let anybody get too close to me. And
Hmm.
so he's my mall boyfriend, and he wears the fedora and
Hey,
he was fresh the
that
first night. I had to put him in his place. He was
yeah, yeah. You set your
definitely fresh.
boundary. You told him to behave.
Yeah, I told him I'm not that kind of girl. Yeah, yeah. So
What I found really interesting that stuck with me, Renee, is when we had a really great conversation last night. And I hope it's okay to mention, but you mentioned about the tunnel and somewhere or a connection of the tunnel.
yes, an open door to the Immortal Phoenix, where the shop is.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
That really blew my mind and really sparked my interest. And I was like, whoa, this is pretty interesting, and I'm really, really drawn to that for some reason. But I think
You will
folks
be
are
able
in
to
for
investigate it over the weekend. If not that
great.
Friday night, then on Sunday.
Sure.
'Cause
That'll
you're
be
gonna go
exciting.
get Kalila, right? So
Yeah, yes.
probably, yeah, probably that Sunday we'll do it
Great.
at the
Awesome.
shop. So
Very
the
cool.
shop
Very cool.
is the original. It was a part of the original jail of the Auburn prison. So back in I think it was 1843
Wow.
when they started this, and it was like for women. It was for women, and then
Hmm.
eventually it turned over for the criminally insane.
Mm.
So it ended up being it ended up being people were murdered there. We found a murder weapon.
Wow.
We have the murder weapon,
Yeah.
and we can show where it was actually hidden. Um, People were sexually abused and physically
Yeah.
abused, mentally abused. The
I
prison
imagine.
cells are still there in
Mm.
the basement, and they're 10 by 10 cells. There's one there that I call the woman fancy because it's the only prison cell that has hardwood floors and tin ceiling in it, and it's a double cell.
Wow.
So I
That's
call her
crazy.
fancy because I
Man.
think she fancied the warden and a few of the
Yeah.
others.
Yeah.
You see, now Donna's daughter is really fascinated the with Fancy's room too. But
Mm-hmm.
here's something really interesting that we discovered. 4 cameras were hooked up on the same system, no splicing, brand new wires, hooked up to the hard drive. Hard drive was working. One camera where we all were at the bottom of the stairs froze us in time several times throughout the night.
Yeah.
Then then we found Dom's going through all the footage today. And
Mm-hmm.
Dom does it. When he does it, he goes frame per frame
Yes.
when he looks at all this stuff, okay? So he's very thorough. And you can see, I had said to a woman who was there from the public, and her name was Kim. Hi, Kim, if you're watching. She was there, and I said to her, I said, it was either to her left or to her right. Um, there was somebody there, a woman there with her. And so she stood, it must have been to her right. She stood and she put her arm out like this, and she's like, take our pictures. So
Oh wow.
we were taking her pictures, and on my personal timeline, or you can go to Upstate Supernatural, you can see the video where frame per frame, you can see a dark mass come in and stand there with her and disappear.
Oh.
Um, you can
Yes.
see it enter, and then you can see another picture where it was right over her shoulder.
Mm. That is
So
so cool. And
so
that's
we
on,
have
and they can go to the site and they can see that.
yes, they can go
Oh,
to on
great.
Facebook to Upstate Supernatural. Yes,
Oh,
Rick, it was
nice.
a woman's prison. They,
Yeah, that's right.
one woman was in there because she had a speech impediment.
How
Back
crazy is
then
that?
it is, I mean, we wouldn't think of anything like that now, but she was in there, and I'll never forget the first time I walked in the building. I guess I wasn't really prepared. I mean, I just like drove up an hour and I walk in and it was like, whoa, you know, um, a little bit dizzy. And it was like, okay, everybody back off,
Mhm.
give me some space, let me get acclimated, and then you can
Correct.
approach me nicely,
Yes.
and
Yes.
and Lorna was like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, it's all good. I'm really sensitive to all different energies. And when they come at me,
Oh, yeah.
um, that's how it is. So then I was able to talk to them. And I think Sean Snyder's in here. He's from
Hey, John.
Syracuse, from a paranormal team in Syracuse. And he's seen the shop also. He was there for a seance that
Wow.
we held.
That,
Um,
and
and
that's a
Donna's been there.
cool.
So I mean, it's very intense when you're
Yes.
investigating, very highly active. We sat there at the table Saturday, and just during the day, and we're just talking, Victor, and the thing started moving. I'm like, oh wow, somebody's moving stuff near the coffee pot. They want coffee.
Some
Things
coffee.
disappear all the time, and we have to get out the dowsing rods to find them. It's like a game that they
Yeah.
play with us. They
Yeah.
relocate things on us, and we have to find them.
And you know what I like? You said something so interesting that I think is coming out even more, has come out more than in times past, is the mention of you were there in the daytime. And a lot of times, or people are kind of under the impression that spirits or uh, things of that nature are only present during the nighttime. And it's like, no, it's 24/7. You know what I mean? And there you are in the afternoon or daytime, whichever it was, and here you see the coffee pot going to the side or coffee, I mean, that I think people are now recognizing that a lot more, and knowing that activity can happen at any point in the day, not necessarily just the quote unquote witching hour, 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, they if they were as we were, think about the time that we are up at all hours doing whatever during the day, during the night, all our activities. I mean, it goes the same for those that have moved on or passed on or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I find that interesting that now it's kind of with the experiences of those shared, having that kind of daytime experience with the paranormal, it's coming out even more. They're oh, okay,
Mm-hmm.
well, this, it's not, doesn't have to be nighttime. It can be, at the daytime, bright early in the morning.
Right.
uh, they're saying, hey, I want some coffee, or I'd like some coffee.
And
But
that's
I
about
think
it
that's
too,
great.
and you're right. And I've always said to people, it's more, I think, for convenience and for spook factor for
Yeah.
people to investigate in the middle of the night and late at night. It's okay, I get it. And maybe it's quieter
Oh
traffic
yeah.
wise and stuff, but
Yeah,
most
yeah,
of
I can
your
see that.
activity, your normal activity, is going to happen during the daytime and stuff. You have to remember that they lived in the physical world at one point in time,
Exactly.
and
Exactly. I couldn't agree
they
more.
are going to do their routine. They're going to do their stuff. When were they busy? During the day,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and
And
so they're going to continue that.
and when you think about it, I ask myself, okay, Victor, let's see, put yourself in that position. If, when, not if, but when I do go,
Hmm.
what will people, if at all, come and investigate my home? What are they going to find you doing? And you're going to hear music. You're going to hear, and it's going to be all through the daytime. So it'll be a
Well,
good investigation for you.
in November, I'm telling you, in November, you'll see that I serve
Oh
drinks
yeah,
to the spirits up at the bar.
nice.
I not real ones. I call them ghost spirits, and they
Spirits
choose
for
what drink they
spirits.
want to do, whether they want bourbon, whiskey, whatever it is that they want. Um, so I serve them, and you will hear them talking a regular conversation. They will
Yeah.
answer
Oh
our
yeah.
questions. You
Yes, we
know,
we we had that experience one time. Myself, Linda, and another teammate of ours, who we affectionately call Mom C. We did an old saloon, I believe, in Weesach, and it was what, 1600s maybe, or maybe even maybe 18, somewhere in between that time bracket. And it had an old jail cell across the street, and we went, and it was again an old saloon. It had the wood floors, it had everything the way it was, and the person was renovating half the side of it. So we were allowed to do a full investigation there, and it was just us three. And we went in, and they had the bar, where the bar was set up, and we did the same. We took some, what was it? Was it whiskey or was it a bourbon? I mean, tequila. What was it? It was bourbon, I think. And we poured little shot bourbon in the shot glasses, and we kind of aligned them along the bar, and we offered it to them. And then we just kind of walked around and did our thing, and we came back. And the ironic part about that was we got some great results. We got some cool, interesting EVPs, and also we happened to capture footsteps with the spurs, like what, boots and spurs type thing, walking
hmm
across the floor. This is what we did. We put three recorders, one in the saloon, one in the middle room, and one in the far back room. Now we were in the far back room videotaping, so you have three recorders on, and you hear and see our reaction in the third room, which is far away from the saloon. And so we went back, and upon analysis, you hear us reacting, and you hear us calling out the footsteps. We're the only ones locked in there, and it's in an isolated area in Weesach. And then we take the recorder that was in the saloon, and you hear the footsteps loud and clear. I
hmm
mean, literal thumps on the floor and the scrape and the scratch, type thing. And I was like, well, there they go. They just went and got their little drink on, and they appreciated it, I suppose. But it was really interesting. It really was. And again, it's treating them as you would any guest or any friend
Mhm.
or any family member, and not as a caged animal or source that you poke and prod until you get a reaction. No, it's
Correct.
nothing like that. And but I find that interesting, and I like that. That's pretty cool. That's really cool. So
No,
I can't wait.
you're gonna love it. It'll be a lot of fun. Now, what you were talking about is the tunnel. We don't go in the tunnel.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
but the tunnel is to the back at the basement, and there's a door that
Mhm.
we do not open because there is something that is quite negative in nature
Yes,
behind the door, and it
absolutely.
actually sent a few people running up the stairs last
Wow.
weekend
Yeah.
during the investigation. They're like, "We're out of here," and they were like, "Phew," is
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't blame. Yeah, I would keep the door closed.
yeah. So we don't open that door. We don't
Yeah,
open
of
that back
course.
door, but and we actually did capture a male spirit's face in that. And Donna's laughing. Donna, hi, sweetie.
She's having a hoot.
Why? Well, Donna knows one of the runners.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, I get that. Yeah. We've had some of those stories where we've been the runners and we've also know the runners.
Yeah, yeah. It was fun because she was there last weekend. So that
Yeah.
it makes it memorable, and we can all laugh and stuff, and
Yeah.
everybody was safe, and that's one of the things I wanted to talk about tonight. I mean, I
Sure.
touched on it a couple of weeks ago with Ray, but from your perspective, being somebody different, and you do go to, you're all over. You're Texas, you're New Orleans. You
Yes.
go where there's some pretty heavy duty hauntings.
Oh, yes.
um, and so, what is your take? What advice and stuff do you want to talk about in regard to that? This is serious stuff. This is actually very serious.
Yes.
And I like the part where you say you don't taunt, you don't yell, you treat them like they're still alive. You talk to them, you offer them something to drink, even though you might not have something
Yeah.
particularly right there when
Hmm.
you offer them. And I can remember one time I was hit home and I was doing a session, and I said, "Do you want coffee?" They told me what they wanted in their coffee, right?
Yeah.
And then they said, "Get some coffee," and I said, "Well, I have coffee. I don't want to walk away from this," and my coffee was gone out of my cup.
Oh, wow. You see?
They were telling me to get more coffee. So you treat them kindly, because even the nicest spirit can be can be negative if you treat them
Sure.
inappropriately.
Just
Um,
as any one of us would be if we were treated in a certain way.
Correct.
You don't want to be treated that way, and I think it's important. Just like you said, we have investigated and we've been around some really deep and heavy stuff, both in Texas and New Orleans, and now up in the East Coast, all around this area. And for me, and I think I can speak for Linda as well, because we kind of do this ritual or routine that we have together. And but kind of rewinding back, the individual or the person, again, this is just my opinion, kind of, take from it what you want, what works for you, what doesn't. First off, I would suggest that the person or the investigator or whatever that is wanting to do this or go into this, yeah, we're laughing, it's joke,ful, this, that, but on a serious note, it is very serious,
Hmm.
and it can be very detrimental to the individual if you do go in uh, open and just without any sort or form of protection. And when I say protection and kind of elaborate on that is what I mean, according to what your belief system is,
Hmm.
what you believe in, I can only share what I do. And if someone can relate to that, that's awesome. That's cool. We have all different walks of background, well, different backgrounds. And for me, what I like to do, and I started doing, in which has helped me, is I like to ground myself with meditation. I do at least 30 minutes of meditation, and it's with either song or it's just kind of with the crystals. We had a crystal bowl session this past couple of days, and it was totally amazing. And I'm going to be incorporating that into raising our vibration higher. That way, when we do these investigations, that we not attract kind of the lower level energies, but kind of stay up here. You know, and we
Mhm.
stay afloat, stay alert, and stay aware without being stressful about it, you know, because you can be up here, but then you can be all out of sorts still, you know,
Correct.
but to be able to operate on that level, on that frequency, kind of just opens the third eye, and it's kind of open. It's just really smooth and it flows. And so I do a 30-minute session, like a warm up, if you will, to where I just kind of tune everything out, you know, cleanse anything from the day. And you know, some people will picture themselves surrounded by the white light. That's the most famous thing, you know, that people do. And if it works for you, that's great. But it's all about your faith, you know, and I'm not talking about
Hmm.
faith religion, I'm talking about faith in what you believe in. You know,
Right.
that's where that strength comes from. That's where, you know, the higher vibration raises, and you create this bubble, this protection around you, whether it's a bubble,
Hmm.
whether for me it's a shield, I like to call it around a fire about me, you know, because fire is something that I identify with and it resonates with me. So I sit and I just picture it, you know, come from the bottom of my feet until it consumes all of me from head to toe. And I just kind of like Phoenix, you know, from the ashes, and just kind of
Hmm.
raise that vibration. And then I'm able to go into the investigation without feeling threatened or without feeling fearful or without giving any little clue or nugget to whatever negativity might be there that would want to latch itself or leech itself on you or follow you home. You know, so my
Right.
routine is definitely meditation. You know, long story
Hmm.
short, meditation. I do meditational exercises. Again, that ground me, and it's in the chakra, you know, aligning the chakras and working the kinks out from the day. I don't want to bring into an investigation any toxicity of a workplace or in my environment. We had you know, there was something that happened, and then you bring it and it spills over into the investigation. All you're doing is
Right.
feeding that lower level negativity, and you know, and it just gets crazy and messy and chaotic. And you don't want that. You want to use precaution, and that, you know, that's a red flag, you
Hmm.
know, for you. So you want to take that time to cleanse yourself. You know, do you and do what helps you, you know, because what works for me may not necessarily work for you. There's so
Right.
many things out there, and this I've tried several things, but for me this is one of the best things, the meditation, you know, that I do for
Hmm.
about 30 minutes. And then when we did the crystal bowl sessions this past weekend, I added that into the mix, and let me tell you, it was so awesome. It was
I
phenomenal.
can
I mean,
imagine.
yes, it was a cleansing. It was a detox, a spiritual detox. It was like a deep spiritual massage, you know, and it just felt like floating in the air and stuff. Now, but yes, it is very important before going into an investigation that your head is screwed on right. You know, you want to be well rested. You want to
Hmm.
be clear minded. You want to be. Some people fast. You know, uh,
Right.
some people fast because it's all in discipline. You know, and it just aligns the body. And some people do the bath, you know, too, with the salt and you know. So there's so many things to do out there. But I encourage meditation. It's really awesome, y'all. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And of course, in what your belief system is, whatever it may be, go to that, try that, and also
Hmm.
take note. Take note that what you're stepping into, what your intent is, you
Hmm.
know, for that evening and for that time. It's a time
Right.
to, you're going to be gathered around other other people, other souls, and if you want that great experience, you just gotta kind of keep it, keep it at that level. Keep it on the above. You know what I mean?
Right.
Stay
Right.
above, stay afloat, stay in love. You know what I mean? Love is powerful. If you can love your, kind of connect with yourself before walking into an investigation, it really brings forward strength, and it just like, wow, and so I hope that kind of helps in, certain areas, and I hope it answers that question, because I didn't want to say any specific one, because there's so many out there. It's what fits for you,
Yeah.
and for me,
You're right. You're right. It's definitely what the person feels comfortable with. Typically, when we do a group investigation, a public investigation, I'll usually do like a little invocation type thing
yeah,
prior. Dom will have me do that, and then walk everybody through some form of protection. And my thing is that if you're going to investigate, even in a public investigation, if you're on pain medication,
yeah,
anything that's mind altering,
that's a
if
good point. Yeah,
if you are sick, if you have allergies, women, if you have your menstrual cycle, um, you are susceptible to an
yeah,
attack, to
hmm,
attachments during investigations. It is highly recommended not to go and do that until you're vibrating higher, not on all the medication and off your
yeah,
period, ladies. I mean, um, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because when we've done public investigations, there's been several times where people have attended where they've been on pain medication, where they've, had different things going on within their lives that they weren't 100%. And guess who's had to fix it?
mm,
You
yeah,
know? And so instead of me enjoying the investigation and being able to help other people who are investigating, I'm dealing with somebody who's being attacked or gotten an attachment because
yeah,
of the fact that they weren't they weren't they were thinking it was not serious that
yeah, yeah.
I'm going to go
And-
whether I want to go.
Yeah, and you know what? And two, what I would say also, for those of us that have, been through all of this before, and and know enough, if you have someone just, you have the stragglers coming in, and they don't know what's going on. They just want that the seek of the thrill. I mean,
Mhm.
after all, isn't that where it begins? You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
like, ooh, what is this? It sounds interesting. But I think it's responsible, or it's our responsibility to kind of, if you come across someone that's new and that's asking questions, give them a little bit of that time, to kind of say, well, hey, is this your first time? Have you done
Mhm.
this before? And kind of give them a little insight. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Because that helps, that individual, because you never know what road or path they're on,
Mhm.
and you may be their guiding light. And I'm not
Mhm.
saying that we're out to save everybody, but it wouldn't hurt to share that bit of knowledge that you have
Right.
with an individual that walks in and doesn't
Mhm.
really know what they're doing, but they feel called to do this, or
Mhm.
or they're just curious, or that sort of thing. And I know it's usually announced before an investigation by the lead investigators and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. But you know what? Spread a little love and just kind of say, "Hey, is this new? Would you like to come along with us? And here's what you can, da 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 da," and kind of break it down just a bit. And, it
Mhm.
helps. It really, really does help, and it makes for a greater investigation, because they may not know what's expected from them, nor they may not know the dangers also.
Mhm.
Because there's a cause, there's an effect, there's
Mhm.
all this stuff that you do have to take into consideration, because you just
Yep.
never know who you're speaking with, or never know who you're in a group with. So yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, I would definitely add that.
Yep. We do a lot of that ourselves, and we go over the equipment too.
Oh
In a
yeah.
lot of cases, we go over the equipment. My dowsing rods are usually a pretty big hit, and
Oh yeah. The first
they're a big hit.
They are. They're really cool. We were at the I'm gonna mess this up. The Powhatan house mansion in Williamsburg. Is it Williamsburg, Linda? Williamsburg. And we were fortunate enough to investigate with one of the individuals there doing the tours, and Mr. David Flowers, right? And he brought out these really cool dowsing rods that I believe his wife makes, and I was like, "Oh, this is very cool," you know. And he demonstrated, and he also allowed us to use them. And uh, I thought it was really cool, the dowsing rods, because you start feeling that pull, that little vibration,
Hmm.
you know, and then they start, you know, working as they're explained, and they do lead and they do guide, you know,
Hmm.
to certain areas, and I find them. I think we need to use them a lot more these days. I think we need to go back a little old school and start using them again. And
Yeah.
we bought some, so we're like, yeah, we got to have these. Very cool tool.
I absolutely love my dowsing rods, and a really interesting story on how I had acquired them. I had bought some equipment, and it came up from Florida. I don't know, about 6, 7 years ago, and it came with these little tiny dinky uh, dowsing rods, and I'm like, my hands are not small. I'm not a small girl, and I'm trying to use them, and they just weren't fitting for me. So I had gone to an event down in Binghamton, and one of my friends had her paranormal team. They were from Binghamton, set up like 2 tables down from me, and she came up and she saw my dowsing rods, and she said, "Oh my God, they're the perfect size for me.
Oh
Can I touch
wow.
them?" I said, "Oh, please touch them." She's like, "Mine are too big. Mine won't work for me. They won't do anything for me." I said, "Well, let me see them." So she brought them over and I picked them up and they just started swinging, like going crazy. And she's like, "I have never seen them do that before." I said, "I'll tell you what, I will trade you." And
There
so
you go.
she got her smaller pair that works for her, and I got this
Hmm.
set that works for me, and they are amazing. They are
Yeah.
amazing.
You know, you brought out in listening to you brought out a really another important point in choosing that kind of an instrument.
Hmm.
It sometimes you have to connect to it, you
Yep.
know, and you feel it, and you know, because like
Hmm.
when we had the dowsing rods displayed before us, I just, you know, kind of caressed my hand over them to see which one resonated with me more,
Hmm.
and I chose the ones that I have now,
Hmm.
and they were just as you described, you know what I mean, and
Hmm.
that's kind of cool to, you know, just kind of do that with those kinds of tools. You know, sometimes they call you. It's very
Yep.
Harry Potter-ish, you know, the way
Yeah.
you pick your wand, you know, your wand picks you, sort
Yep.
of, so to speak. And I believe it's like that with some of the tools and instruments that we use. But yeah, that's really cool. That's right. But I do love using the dowsing rods.
I
They're
I
very
love
good.
it. Now I make pendulums and stuff, and of course they're all
Yeah.
going to work for me because I test them out, right?
Hmm.
But whenever I go somewhere and there's pendulums and I stop and I look, and there's always one or two that are start swinging, saying, "Look at me, here I am, you want me."
Yeah.
And like when I was down in Memphis, I went to a metaphysical shop. This is before the broom closet was open. Shout
Yes.
out for Emily and Steven. Um, and Kevin had taken me to go to this one metaphysical shop, and we had gone with Tanya. And I walked by the pendulums, and I'm standing there, and just one kept on like really back and forth, and the rest of them were taut. You're just
Mm.
straight and wouldn't move, and this one was just a swinging. And I said, "Okay, you're coming home with me. You're telling me
Wow.
you want to
Yep.
be with me." And
Yes.
so it did. It came home with me. Um, and that's what
Mhm.
I tell people when they come into the shop. Take a look. If you want a pendulum, it's not what you think is pretty.
Yeah,
It has to
exactly.
choose you. It has to choose you.
Hmm.
Otherwise, it's not going to work for you. It's
Hmm.
not going to work.
I find that to be
And
true.
the
Yeah.
same thing with your dowsing rods. You have
Hmm.
to ask, when you're holding it, you have to ask permission to use it that
Hmm.
initial time. do you want me to use you? Are you willing to work with me? It'll say yes or it'll say no. And if it
Mm-hmm.
says no, you don't buy them because it's not going to work for you, you
Yeah.
know?
Yep.
And so you always ask that permission,
Oh
and
yeah.
people think it's kind of crazy, but it's real. It's
It
real.
is. It really is. And
Yeah.
yeah, when I brought my first pendulum, it was in Gettysburg, and
Yeah.
it was really unique because we went to see Pamela Berry at the Gettysburg Exchange while we
Hmm.
were there. And she had some really beautiful pendulums, and I was drawn to a certain section. And I don't know if she still has them anymore because it was what 20 something that I went a couple of years ago. Uh, and I was just, again, I do my hand thing and I'm asking questions in my head, which one, I feel it out.
Hmm.
And there were two in particular that I had liked. One looked really new and really pretty, but then there was one that was really old and rustic, that that just called to me. That was like, okay, that's you. You know what I mean? You, you're, that sort of thing. And I got it, and it was really cool because the history behind it was it was an old rusted nail from the orphanage, from the Jenny Wade orphanage, and
Nice.
so now I have that as my pendulum, and it's really really cool because it just, I mean, it swirls and it does whatever it's supposed to do, and but that stayed with me and I kept that and I love it, and it's actually right there in front of me. It's still there where I can
Nice.
see it. So, but it's very true. It does have to call out to you, and you do ask, okay, is this, are we a thing here, so
Mhm.
to speak? And there you go.
I'm a pendulum whore.
I only have two.
I admit it. No, I have more than two.
Now I know what to get you for
And
Christmas.
I have, I have, yeah, probably about 10 of them. Um,
Oh, that's not too
because
bad.
yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, but it's like whenever I walk by somewhere new in a metaphysical shop or an event,
Mhm.
and one is really got my attention, I can't be mean. You know, I just can't be
I hear
mean.
you. Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
I'm not saying that I don't have my favorite,
Of
and I
course.
do,
Of course. Yes.
that I use. But I try to give the others fair share, and which one I'll use for Reiki, which one I'll use for chakra alignments, and
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
true. Yeah, that's true. Because you have each one that for each thing. That's pretty cool. That's a really
yeah,
good idea. I like that.
yeah. So
Yeah,
they all
I
feel
only
that
have
they're a part, that they're a little part of the
yes,
experience. You know what I'm saying?
exactly, exactly.
Because they wanted to be a part of my life and a part of what I did. So, I mean, to
Hmm.
keep them in a
Hmm.
pouch all the time is not fair for that either.
True, very true. We were talking about, it just came to mind. We were talking about what methods or what techniques to use for protection going in.
Uh-huh.
On the flip side of that coin, I know there's a lot of questions that have been asked. What do we do after?
Yeah,
Do
definitely.
so that
Mm-hmm.
nothing will follow home and that sort of thing. What I like to do is I use I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with it. It's called Palo Santo, and
Yeah, I love I
they
have
look
Palo
like
Santo all the time.
little cinnamon sticks, but they're not
Yeah.
cinnamon sticks. And I burn those, and then you have your sage, your shell,
Mm-hmm.
and then I kind of just do a cleansing with that, afterwards, just
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that all of that is just kind of cleansed
All the
away.
ticks are removed. Yep.
Yeah, all that stuff just kind of falls off, and you then take the bath, and but yeah, that was another thing that I thought we should probably
I
check.
actually prefer Palo Santo over White Sage.
Yeah, I love Palo Santo. Palo
Number
Santo's really
one, the smell is just, it's heaven to me. You know what I'm
oh,
saying? I love the smell of the Palo Santo. I feel it's
yeah,
more effective.
yes,
It's stronger.
energy
Some people
protection.
don't like
Yes.
it because they feel it's too calming, too
Hmm.
balancing, but
They
I
want
like
something
it.
more pungent.
Yeah, yeah, I
Mm,
think so.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
like it. I'll put it in a dish next to me and just burn it when I'm working on my computer.
Smells
Now,
so good.
now last week I ended up burning, the large sticks of the sage.
Yes, yeah.
Um, yeah, I ended up burning half of them, and I broke it up, and I swear to God, I smoked my place out. Maya, Maya's going, Mommy, ew, what's that smell?
We
It smells
talked
like
about
smoke. Yeah, you would have thought Cheech and Chong were in my home. I swear to God, it was
it was Renee up in smoke.
totally.
Oh my God.
I broke
You
that thing up
smoked
in
it.
a baking dish and I lit it and I just let it smoke for like 3 hours. And I mean, it was billowing. Had I opened a door, it would have been, it would
Yeah.
have been billowing out the door. I mean, it was crazy. And Maya's sitting there going, Mommy, I don't like that smell. I'm like, just sit there and love it. Just soaking it, child, soaking it. You know,
We, oh my God, we talked about this guy last night, Renee and
we
I, when
did.
she told me about how much sage was burnt. I could not help but laugh, and that's the first thing that came to my mind was very, a Cheech and Chong moment, and she said it, and I just busted out laughing, and it just tickled me to imagine Renee, kind of, going through the house, parting clouds to find things because the way it was described. But it was needed, believe me. But yeah,
It was great.
yeah.
It was
Oh
great.
yeah. I'm
And, well,
surprised.
it
Yeah.
smelled awful and the clothes smelled awful because sage, that's the difference too between
Stage
Palo
leaves an
Santo
atmosphere.
and the
Mhm.
sage is the Palo Santo does not make your clothing or furniture or anything smell like smoke or
No.
anything like that.
It
Whereas
has,
the sage is like, through the
oh
roof.
yeah, yeah. It
Yeah.
has a very the Palo Santo has a very clean smell to me,
Hmm.
and I can tolerate that. As far
It's
as like
sweet.
allergy wise, the
Yeah.
sage not so much because it is very strong. It's very pungent.
Hmm.
And if you're
Hmm.
burning bushels of sage as Renee was doing, and you can like, oh yeah, put the gas mask on, and
It was
but no,
great.
but if you love it, I mean, hey, do it.
Well,
But,
I've never
but
done it like that before. That was the first time, but I needed to
yeah,
do it because of,
yeah, that was a necessity. That was definitely a necessity. I heard someone else. There was someone else did this. That's how they cleansed homes. Was they call it a smoke out, and it
Mhm.
wasn't a barbecue, folks, but it was a cleanse of the house to where they just kind of
Yeah.
did something similar. They smoke out the house with
Yep.
sage bundles and stuff like that, and they've gotten some positive results by doing that.
Hmm.
But yeah, but take caution in that too. Not encouraging to go start burning. Keep an eye on what you're burning. You
Yeah,
don't want
you
to burn
have
your
to.
house down.
Well, what I did is I put it like in a baking dish, and I had it right next to me on top of my computer. The lid was shut, and I didn't
Yeah,
think anything of it. I mean, it was it had a base to it and everything, so I didn't think that the base itself would get like hot, like it hit a ring. You know what I mean,
yeah,
underneath it.
yeah.
And so the top of my computer is a little bit
Oh
melted.
no, is it
I
Mark?
like it started a crop circle, so I started a crop circle on my laptop. So
Oh no, my
I
God.
picked it up and I put it on the stove on the burner
You gotta
and
take a picture of that and just kind of, crop circle
a
on,
crop circle on Renee
yeah,
Lives. Yeah.
live,
Yeah.
crop circles
Oh,
live.
I saw that. I'm like, what the hell did you just do? I mean, a total Lucy moment, a total Lucille Ball moment where I don't know what the hell I was thinking. And here it was, and I'm thinking, oh dear God, if this doesn't work, if the screen doesn't work, what did I do to it? But it still works, so we're
There
all
you go.
good.
There you go.
I'm
Yeah,
happy
there
with
you
that.
go.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hello, hello, Adrian. Hello, Ryan. She's looking at some familiar Donna. Yeah. Awesome to see those guys in the chat room.
yeah.
Ryan
We
is
got
really cool.
Alan just popped in. I used to work with
Hey,
Alan,
Alan.
and Wendy's in
How's it
here,
going?
and
Very
not
cool.
Alan, the
No,
Alan
no.
you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
So I'm
awesome.
pretty excited. Yeah,
I am
but
glad tickles me about your bushel experience.
I'm telling you, I had
Oh my
life
goodness.
is not boring with me.
No, it's
Mm-mm.
not.
It's an adventure, even for me. Sometimes I look at it and I amaze myself.
Oh my God. Yeah. Hey,
I
you know what?
amaze
It
myself.
happens, right? It
Yeah,
happens. Oh
it
my God.
happens. All right.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
Now every time
between
I
the
burn
teaching
sage, I'm gonna
song
think,
and
yeah, when I burn sage, I'm gonna think of Renee now. It's like,
yeah, you
okay,
gotta think of
hey,
me.
sage.
I mean, it was. I mean, the whole thing was going up. I was like, I'm just gonna take it apart and let it go then,
Yeah,
and it did. It burned for Jesus a couple of hours. Like I said, it was just billowing, but I didn't think the first like half hour it would get that hot. I mean, it was like cinder. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, and I'm like,
oh,
so I went
Renee.
to move it. I'm like, oh my God! It was like the plastic was like sticking to the bottom
Oh my
of the
God.
glass. And I'm like,
You could,
holy crap!
the way you describe it, you could have sent us some smoke signals over here, put a
I
little
could
blanket
have.
on and be like, hello, hello to
Yeah,
everyone
I could
across
have.
the East
I could
Coast.
have.
It's
Yeah,
like, oh, there's Renee.
I could have. And I've never done a smoke out like that.
Yeah,
Um,
but it was
but what a
necessary.
difference!
Yeah,
What a
yeah, and
difference!
it was necessary for you to do that, and it's a good thing that you
Even the
did.
cats even stayed in. They even stayed in for it. They didn't go
Uh,
outside, or they all
yeah,
stayed in there, and it was a good thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You got to do what you got to do sometimes, and it was a necessity. It was a necessity. It was
Yeah, it
necessary.
was
It was necessary. So,
definitely.
wow, that's crazy. But yeah, it's been interesting. Uh, we are again we're going into the next phase of what the projects that we have aligned for us, and we're
Mhm.
very excited about it. We'll be, of course, doing November, which I'm excited about. Going back to that, I'm just really hyped about going up there. And then October we have New Orleans, and our home away from home, and we're going to be doing a lot of investigating, excuse me, at various locations, and we are going to be trying to bring something different to the forefront, and we're going to be doing a lot of video, a lot of audio. There's going to be lots of cool interviews coming up with some very interesting and respected people, and
Mhm.
it's going to be amazing. It really is, and I'm looking forward to it. It's something. It's again, I've never delved on the part of the production side of things that heavily, and I'm really happy to be a part of that and see what we all come up with together collectively as a
Mhm.
group. And again, interviewing all these different teams, and then we have the haunted tours. You know, Kalila Smith and the official haunted tours thing. We're going to be doing a bus tour, and we're going to be going out into the cemeteries, and we're
Yep.
going to be so wow. What a whole. It's going to be there what about a week or so, and it's going to be a back-to-back thing, and we're going to be bringing all this to all of you guys,
Mhm.
and so I hope everyone that tunes in will be able to take from it, have a takeaway from each segment and each show that we do, because I really want people to see uh, the true self of the person behind the leading of
Mhm.
these investigations, and their cause and their purpose, because there's too much of a stigma with the ego and the show and the gimmick and the shtick that you got to be a certain way and dress a certain way, and and it's cool. I'm not knocking it. That's for you. That's for you. But
Mhm.
I want to bring in the personalize it. I want to get to the heart of these
Mhm.
people's purpose, and why they do what they do, and why we all do. I should include myself, what we do, and learn from one another, and use that as building blocks. Not stumbling blocks, but building blocks
Right.
to higher purpose. So that way, all of us that have been doing this for years could start coming up to the front and saying, "Hey, this is what I've found. I connect
Mhm.
the puzzle pieces to this great big puzzle that spaces are still missing. We need you all. We need one another. And so I hope to attain, and that we all hope to attain and achieve that through this platform that's been given us, and it's a blessing for us to go forward and go in, and it's going to be a bit of everything. Like I said,
Mhm.
we're going to do lots of exploration, and some very deep explorations to where it will even challenge each one, that is a part of this project. And
Hmm.
it already has, to be frank, for the little stuff that we've done. We also have, I'll be going to Texas September 10th,
Hmm.
and I'll be going back to my old stomping ground, San Antonio, Texas, and where we have lined up some really cool investigations for you guys that we'll be showing you. We'll have video footage, we'll have interviews with some really cool people, and so yeah, going back to Texas is going to be pretty interesting.
That'll be
And
fun.
then yeah, so we got Texas, New Orleans, and we have New York in November, October. So September, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be. I'm stoked. And it's fun. It's fun doing it because the information that comes from it. Uh, we all should have that bracket to grow. You know, and to learn more and to build and all that stuff and build one another up, not tear one another down.
Hmm.
And we're all in it for the same thing. Even if you're doing it for entertainment purposes, there may be something that you're doing that I may be interested in wanting to take on to try in my investigations. And
Correct.
so yeah, I mean, and I'm not claiming paranormal unity. I'm not claiming that or pushing that. All I'm saying is, unite, just kind of just go with the flow.
Oh, you're frozen in
Go with the
time.
flow and see what happens. Oh, there we go. Am I back?
There you go.
Okay. Okay. You saw the snake dance? Okay.
I did. I saw the snake
Just
dance.
pointing the finger at me. She got after me.
I
Um,
told everybody you were frozen in time. It happened to you. See, it happened to us at one time. It happened to
see?
you.
There you go. There you
Wait till you
go.
see your face. Wait till you see your face back, and you were like,
Oh no, that's gonna be
"No, I'm like
terrifying.
kidding."
It's gonna be terrifying. Forgive the McDonald's glass that I'm drinking out of. I usually have my Texas mug, but I had to work quick because I was like, we're putting children to bed and they were jumping all over, and I grabbed the quickest thing I could. So,
Look at my mug. Wait a minute. Can you see this?
oh, that's nice. That's
Isn't it
nice.
cool?
I have one very similar to that. It's all in black. It was a
I
gift.
saw that, and I'm like, "That's mine."
That's awesome. That's pretty
Had my
awesome.
name on it.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
So, like, have you ever done anything like fun and playful, like on investigations? Like, I can tell you one time, I was down in Pennsylvania with my girlfriend Nina, and we went to go on an investigation with a team she was on, and we had to drive like an hour away. So we get there and we quietly sneak into the garage, and we go to the door that's inside the garage to the kitchen, and we hear them all talking, and they are supposed to be investigating.
Yeah, yeah.
So we lay down on the platform
Oh
and the,
my God.
and like kind of scratched a little bit at the door. And all of a
Yes,
sudden you hear
yes.
from the other room, "Did you hear that? Did you hear
Hmm.
that?" And somebody's like, "What?" And we're trying so hard not to laugh. I mean, have you
Yeah.
ever done anything fun like that? I mean, you call it
Oh,
out. You obviously call it out if
yeah.
there's a session going on and whatnot. But
Absolutely.
like,
Absolutely. We have apps. We have lots of bloopers on things like that and practical jokes that we do. It's fun. You know what I mean? It keeps the momentum going. We actually did the one I remember that comes to mind is we played a trick on Mama C, Norma Cantu, who's in the room. Hey, Norma.
"Hi,
Mama
Norma."
C. Hey, Mama C. And Mama C is she's our elder. She's our mama bear, and we were investigating a hospital. It used to be a nunnery, then it changed into a drug rehabilitation, I believe, and then a mental rehabilitation type thing. So we went and we were on maybe the third floor, right? And we had already set up everything. Everyone was exhausted, so it was time to wrap up. Well, someone forgot one of the wires. Think about the hospital. You have this long corridor. There's no lights operating other than what you have brought that works to battery. and
Right.
one of the cords were left on the far end in one of the rooms. Some of these doors or rooms, the hospital rooms, had no doors, so they're black, blacker than black. And so Mama sees up in age. No, she's young at heart. You know what I mean? She's gonna be so mad at me that I said that. But I was like, Mama C, we need to go back down there. And she's like, oh no. She's like, for real? She's like, for real, baby? She has this way of talking. And I was like, well, yeah, we need our cord because we gotta go. And in my brain, my wheels were turning like, okay, yeah, this I'm gonna get her real good now. So we start walking down the corridor. It's very quiet. It was intense, and we started walking, and I waited for the perfect opportunity to reach one of the rooms that the door was wide open, and it was super dark. It was the most scary. And as we were walking,
He's frozen in time again.
I turned. Oh, am I back? Am I back up? Let's see. Am I back?
Can you hear me? There you go.
Yeah. Am I back or am I frozen still? Am I here?
I think so. I think it's a little breaking up a little bit. You're here. You're here. Can you hear me?
Okay, great. Yes, I can hear you perfectly. Oh man, I can imagine what I look like frozen.
Okay.
Don't those pictures freak you out? You're like,
That was great. It was another good. No, it was like a.
yeah. Oh my God. Like I wanted to eat something, right? Like there was a plate of food in front, and I'm like, those are the funniest. Oh my God.
It was great. It was great.
Oh my God. So we're walking down. I hope y'all can hear me. We're going down the hallway, and Mama C is on pins and needles, and because she knows my sensitivity towards the things around me. So she's like, she's in the zone. And we're walking, and she's looking around, and her chest is puffed up like she's ready for anything. And I turned to the left as soon as we hit that room. And I looked, and I said, Mama. She literally jumped, I would say, 4 feet off the ground, it looked. And to see this woman, an older woman jump so high and have like no pains, no aches. She just like, she's like, she's like, you almost gave me a heart attack. I mean, that was the most hilarious thing I'd ever seen. And she can vouch for that. It was hilarious. It was hysterical. And they always try to get me back because I'm kind of the prankster during these investigations. But they never can. They can't get me back because I'm always two steps ahead. I said 2 hips ahead of them, 2 steps ahead of them. And but that was the most funniest thing that we did, and to see her jump so high was awesome. Let me tell you, it was awesome. And she's in the chat room, so she's probably like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you." But yeah, we have those moments. It takes off the edge of the night, after a long night's investigation, and it's fun, and it just, your bonds get closer. We've had lots of stuff like that. Now, what we would love to do is get like a fake cockroach and mess with Linda, because that's Linda's greatest fear. But with her, she's going to put on boxing gloves, and she will knock us out if we ever do that.
I've been like flinging spiders here. I don't know if you've seen me.
Wow.
Like whenever I've moved quickly or whatever, it's because a spider, and not just daddy long legs, some bigger ones, and I'm just like,
oh wow,
batting them away.
Like the daddy long leg one. Oh wow, that's crazy.
Some of them, and some of them are a little bit bigger.
Ooh.
So it came down off the tree, and was right in front of me, and I just kind of swatted it away.
Swatted away.
I did. It went swinging. I don't know where it went, but I heard like a thump.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I love doing little things. Like when we were filming at the Woodruff Fontaine Museum down in Memphis, and Alan's like, "Where'd you go? Where'd you go, everybody?" And they come around the corner, holding onto the earpiece and talking and saying, Alexander Graham Bell, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? And he's just like, are you done playing? I'm like, you found me.
Oh my God, that's
We had a
hysterical.
Mad Hatter tea party at the shop a couple of months ago,
Oh, how cool is that?
for kids. And so
Yeah.
we had the little tea, we had the whole thing set up, and then we took them on their first investigation, and they were all different ages, mostly some preteen to teen. And so we walked them through the shop and downstairs and talked about the shop and the investigation and what you do and everything else. And they were so much fun. And they get in this one room and they're all in there, all these kids. And I'm just like, Renee, don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't do it. And the majority of them were girls. And we already
Oh
told them there's
God.
nothing to fear. And, they'd been doing it a little while here. And all of a sudden I just yelled, oh my God. And they all turned around and screamed. I'm like, you're all in this room. That's awesome. I'm so happy. And they like, in the meantime, they like all levitated and the
Oh
parents
yeah.
were laughing and,
Yep.
yeah.
It gets the juices flowing. Oh my God.
Oh, they
It's a,
got
it,
laughing so hard.
it's crazy. We've had those moments, and we've had moments too where we were sent out on assignment, and we ended up in a tent somewhere. And the smoke was smoking us out, and it was raining, and then the tent started filling up with water, and we started sliding down the slant of that little hill that we were in. It was terrible. Oh my God, it was crazy.
Is
But
it
we've been in
great?
some crazy predicaments. But we take from that and we just laugh, and to this day we laugh. And I believe I ate cheese that had dirt on it for some reason. uh, yeah, it
And you
fell on the
survived.
floor, and I survived. I lived, y'all. And so that was a funny moment because again, we were all asleep, four of us huddled there together because it was so cold, and I just felt something, rising in the back of my side. So with my right hand, I pulled over and I touched, and I'm like, oh my God, there is a pool of water in this tent. And I'm the dam between the water and all the people come, from stopping it. It's like if I get up, this water's gonna spread into our blankets and pillows, and it did. And we had one friend that was just like, yeah, whatever. She just zipped up her sleeping bag and she was knocked out. And myself, Mama C, and Linda were just like, oh, we can't do this. Let's go sleep in the car. And it was the thundering, storming, rain was coming in from the top, and we were
He's frozen
getting
again.
smoked in. Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible. Yeah. Good time. So yeah, I think it's cool. It's cool. It's cool to do things like that.
Yeah, but you have to have fun because, I mean, if you take everything too seriously in life in general,
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean? You need that character building,
absolutely.
and it's
Absolutely.
so important, I mean, if you can't laugh at yourself and laugh at other people and laugh with them, and I mean,
Yeah, it's scared.
you know,
Who did it scared me so bad? Mama C says he scared me so bad. She remembers.
it's
But
always
no,
fun.
yeah, it is. It's always fun. But
So, wait,
yes.
what were you going to say, Victor?
Oh gosh, I think I lost my train of thought. But no, it's true. It's important to not be so serious, not take things so
Mm,
seriously, and not take yourself so seriously. And that's something that it's a growing thing, it's a learning thing. And I myself went through a season and period to where I was like,
mhm,
I want people to see people for me, and I'm a prankster. I like to joke around. I like to
mhm.
laugh. I like to make other people laugh. And when I warm up to you, just like kind of, hey, this is me, and they're like, whoa, I didn't know how, you were like that. They see me and they get very that's
Yeah.
Salazar. You hear the whispers, that's Salazar. Which, there's a time and a place. But yeah, hey guys, I joke around. I like to have fun. I laugh. I laugh at myself, and others will laugh at my expense. But I put it out there. It's cool. It's fun. So, but yeah, I think it's important. Laughter's what is it? Laughter's good medicine for the bones. It's
Yeah.
good for the spirit. It's good for the soul. So
Oh, it
yeah,
is.
it is.
It
It is.
also, like with music, it raises your vibrational energy too,
Yes,
you
and that's
know?
why with the meditations that I do before investigations, being a musician, that's why it was that's why it resonated with me so much because of the music, and to
Hmm.
hear the crystal bowls and the sounds and stuff, and I'd recognize the notes and stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that I found what works for
Hmm.
me, and
Hmm.
it took some time. It took some time because I tried different things, and I think it's
Right.
kind of important to try different things because
Hmm.
you won't know what works for you until you do, with
Hmm.
caution, but still, try and see, what works, and that's what worked for me was the music. Hey, Omar. Hey, Patrick. So yeah, it's really awesome, and music calms the soul.
Yep,
It
it
really
does.
does. And then of course with the crystal bowls, the frequencies, it just kind of it breaks
Hmm.
through those walls and barriers, and it just kind of just goes in. You just are able to release. Now let me tell you a funny story, because that was my first crystal bowl session. I've been to other like the drumming circles and all those other things, which are also great. But we did this one, and someone sat behind me, and this is my first time now. So the practitioner is getting his bowls out, and he's explaining which each crystal meant, color, and this, and what it's for, and all that. And then he said, "Okay, everyone, when I hit this crystal, you guys take an inhale, take a deep breath of all last week." So here I'm like, he's all hold it. Now, when I hit it, release and do the sigh, you know. So
Hmm.
me, I'm very, I'm real proper with my sigh, I'm like, just very quiet. But then the second time he said to do it, I inhaled, and the woman behind me inhaled, and all of a sudden, I was like, okay, when he said exhale and sigh, she was like, she did this bit, and I'm like, whoa, it freaked me out. I was like, I was like, oh my God, someone pray for this woman. She's gone, something gone in her. She possessed or something. And her sigh was so crazy and so weird. I'd never heard a voice go, "Rah," and I was like, I am gonna get killed. It's like if she's levitating when I turn around, I am out of this room.
It reminds me of the birthing classes, right? I mean, think about
Yes,
it,
yes,
right?
Lamaze. Yeah.
I went in, this is no joke. I was a birthing coach for actually Maya's birth mother. And so we go into this thing, and of course, I'd been to one up in Cortland, which is more down to earth and,
Yeah.
everything. Then she wanted to go to Ithaca, which is more granola ish.
Okay. Yeah.
And so we're sitting there with all these women, and she's sitting there, and all these women are like, shh. And I'm just like sitting there thinking, seriously, like,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, that's going to work for you when you're in labor. Uh-huh.
Yeah. You're
Yeah.
gonna do
Okay.
exactly that.
And they're
Yeah.
sitting there going, I just felt the baby kick. And, and they're going on and on. And, but all these over exaggerated intakes and outtakes. And I'm thinking,
Yes. Yes.
that's not how you're going to be. But if that's what you want to pretend, go right ahead. I've already had two,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you
and
go.
I had all I could do to not laugh or to just keep my mouth shut
Yeah.
because I was like, this is like out in left field. This isn't even Planet Zebulon stuff. This is like, It's like it is. It's like the Lamaze classes in Granola Town or something. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you. It was the
Well,
weirdest, scariest experience in my life.
yeah. I mean, think about it because at that point, I'm already calm and relaxed, and I've already let go of last week. And I was like, oh, she must have had a real tough week because the sounds that came
Could you
out,
imagine?
the layers and stuff. I mean, can you imagine? You're in that zone and it's quiet and soft, and everybody had this very pretty tone with their sigh, and then this woman just, and right behind me just, and I'm like, oh my God, it's like Reagan McNeil's here.
Donna just said it's a good thing it didn't come out the other end.
Oh yeah, that's a good thing. That's a very good thing.
Donna's
That
being
did
naughty.
not Donna's being naughty, but that is a possibility, and I was hoping that wouldn't happen. Well, not for myself because that wouldn't be good. But,
Infrared cameras, thermal imaging.
oh my God, we just went there, didn't we?
You know, it would have to come out tonight. But the other half of the entertainment's in the house.
Oh my
He's
God,
not downstairs.
that is funny. Yeah, thank God, Donna, that did not happen. Oh my gosh, but that if that happened, I would have been dead. I just yeah. I'd have been, nope, nope, I'm out of here.
You
I'm in a
guys on the
room.
ground or on plastic chairs?
I was on a chair because if I'm on the ground, I won't get up. You have to like kind of get a bulldozer to pick me up from the ground because my leg's bad.
Uh-huh.
And but no, there was people on the sitting in a circle, and they were sitting down. Some were laying down, some were against the wall, and of course, this woman decided to sit behind me. Very close. I mean, I got rained on, with the sigh and the spit and the wet. So I'm telling you, this woman just, I was like, oh my God. It's like, come on. It's
Do
like,
you ever feel, I mean, you're experiencing all this stuff. Do you ever feel that people go overboard like this one woman did
I,
and over exaggerate that makes people think that doing this stuff you have to be a
yeah,
Fruit Loop, right?
attention.
I mean, and you don't, it's just normal people want to do this, but you always have that one in class who's
Yeah,
going
yeah,
to.
yeah. I know what you're saying. That can happen. It has happened in other things. This one, I think, oh my God, I don't know what to see. She scared me. She scared me. She really did. I didn't know what was coming up out of her. I feared for my life.
The possession.
I feared. I was like, Lord, help me. It's like, oh no. And I was like, where's Linda? Linda's like next to me to the right, and I'm opening my eyes like, did you just hear that? And she's looking at me, and we're communicating telepathically, and this woman keeps growling and spitting and sighing, and that's not a sigh. That's a pain. That was like, ah. I was like, oh my God. It was like
Maybe she had
one of the
Taco Bell.
yeah, it was like one of the Skeksis from the Dark Crystal, the very scratchy type thing. I was like, oh no, I'm out of here. It's like,
So,
nope.
like, I want to talk about something else that you've experienced
Sure,
last
sure,
week.
sure. Yes.
Popeyes.
Oh God, you're in for a treat. Let me tell you. Okay. Lynn and I have not had very good experiences with chicken places here in Norfolk and in Chesapeake. All right. Uh, well, we'll do the Popeyes thing. Okay, y'all know about the sandwich, right? That's going around. Well, let me tell you, I'll admit it. I did want a piece of that Popeyes chicken sandwich. So I told Lynn, you know what? Let's go try it. Let's see. We didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal. And we had seen some posts, and I was like, oh, it can't be that bad. Not here in Virginia. I can see in New Orleans because Popeyes, that's one place we hit, and it's delicious in New Orleans. So we go and we stop, and I mean, literally, line of cars are just from one end to the other around the block, and there's no parking. And I'm looking like, oh my God, it's for the sandwich, you know. So we walk up, we
Over a
get off
chicken sandwich.
over a chicken,
A chicken
yeah,
sandwich.
a chicken sandwich, you know. So we get down and we go to the door, and there's a sign there that says we have sold out of the chicken sandwich. Okay. So I would think that it would probably have been best to have someone go out there, delegate all these cars, you know, to tell them, you know, send them a different direction, because and let them know, hey, we're out. But they're waiting there in the drive-through, so they can't see this sign. They have to wait till they get to the speaker to find out that there's no chicken. And so we walk in, and it's crowded in there. People are angry. People are throwing fits. And Lynn and I are just like, you know what? I just want some chicken. You know, I'm hungry. I just want my chicken. I'm good with that. I don't need the sandwich anymore. I'll put it between a biscuit, and I'll pretend that's the way the chicken sandwich tastes. And so we go in and we order. And again, the woman next to us was fighting the customer verbally, arguing, my chicken gonna be cold by the time you get it. And if I don't get it, it's gonna be cold. And how much longer? And so Lynn and I were trying to ease the stress of everyone for this chicken. And you know, with
Did you
the
do the chicken
employee,
dance?
yeah, I should have. I probably should have, and grabbed everyone's attention, you know? It's like, oh, calm down, people, bring it down. It's just chicken, you know? So we place our order, and the young ladies were very like, oh, you know, you can tell they were really stressed out. And they finally gave her chicken. So anyway, we're sitting there, and then all of a sudden, something happened to the right of us where a young lady was arguing with one of the cooks about something. So I take it as, well, they're arguing about the chicken. There's no chicken. So then we hear the manager yell loudly. He says, if they pull out, lock the doors and call the police. And I looked at Linda, and I got chicken in my mouth, and I said, Linda, be ready for anything. Just drop to the floor, bullets go flying. You know, so they locked the doors. They locked us in the Popeyes. And here is that what? Oh, she did say if I go to the ground and bullets start, she goes, I'm taking my chicken with me. I said, fine, take your chicken with you, but just drop to the floor, you know. And they locked us in. They wouldn't let us out, and there was a confrontation that was happening outside. We couldn't hear exactly what was being said, but it got really rowdy. It got really crazy. And then the young lady called for backup, and some guys came, and they wanted to fight with the employees, and they were ready to throw it down. And Lynn and I and a couple of older ladies are sitting there like, I just wanted chicken. That's it, you know. Can I have some honey? You know, for my biscuit, you know. It was just terrible. And they held us, we were there for a good while before they actually allowed us to go outside, you know, or to leave the premises. And because they were, you know, something was happening, and they were, I guess, protecting us, I guess, you know, or they were just not wanting to let us out so that they wouldn't slip in and get physical. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
So all of this over chicken, the chicken sandwich.
Chicken.
Over chicken. Isn't that
How
disappointing?
barbaric
This is what
that?
we've come to. This is what we've come to. You know, fighting for this chicken sandwich. I'm like, Jesus, you know, but
Well,
that
you
was
saw
like,
the. Did you
I
see the
saw that.
video down in NOLA? Yeah, right.
I saw that. I saw that. I saw that. That was, you know, yeah, I had no words. I was really shocked that it happened around this area, you know, and that we were involved, and they locked us in the chicken place. So, and I texted our niece, and I was like, okay, I'm just letting you know, we are on a lockdown and Popeye's chicken. Like, I mean, that's kind of embarrassing, right? You know, we at the Popeyes, and we on lockdown.
Nice.
Like, what's a person to think on the receiving end of that text? Like, okay, this, what? You know? So that happened. We stayed there. We ate our chicken. we were able, we finished our chicken. It was good. We didn't get the sandwich, and the lady finally left, and they said, "Okay, you're free to go." And I'm like, "Well, gosh, well, thank you very much. You know, y'all could have, I don't know, handled it differently. I don't know."
We'll
But
serve you. I'll make you chicken sandwiches when you come up here. We don't have Popeyes and we don't have Chick-fil-A, so
did you
I'll
say
make
yeah?
you. I'll
Oh,
make
thank you,
you.
thank
You're
you.
welcome.
It'll be safe, right? We're
It'll
not
be
gonna have
safe.
to. Okay, so yeah,
Uh,
it,
we'll
wa- it
we'll
was an
we'll do it
experience.
privately and lock the doors.
Mhm. Yeah. So yeah, that was our Popeyes chicken story, folks, and that wasn't the first. We had also that experience with churches as well. Except, I'll put it this way: churches handled their business because this is a true story, and I know we've gone from paranormal to this, but that's ours. It's
It's
fun.
it's a go with the
Uh,
flow show. This
Going
is
with the flow of
reality.
the
This is
show. All right, I
keeping it
like
real.
that. I like that. Keeping it real. We were at the churches. This was prior to this incident, like about a year ago or so. And we went to the churches, and we love Church's Chicken because it's in Texas. And we were unfamiliar with the chains around here in Virginia. We found churches. We were excited. We're like, ooh, we want to get some Church's Chicken. We want to, get the jalapeno, put the juice on, and eat our food. And we go through the drive-through, and then all of a sudden we notice a truck pull up with a group of people, and they're getting down. We're like, oh, all right. Our eyes are open. We're just looking out, and we get to the window, and as soon as we get to the window, the employees are having a throwdown. They are literally physically punching each other and going at each other and talking about each other's mama, and they're just like boom 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 boom. But let me tell you, that was happening, and it was like, oh yeah, it was like boom 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 boom. She drops some chicken, and then she goes back boom 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 boom. She packs the chicken, and then whoosh, and then she opens the window. She's all, "Do you like ketchup with that?" And we're like, "What's going on?" but
Nice.
but literally, they had a fight, and it was almost similar, but it wasn't as intense as Popeyes. But they were actually physically going at each other, but they were handling the customers at the same time. So at
Hmm.
least
And
our chicken was hot and fresh, and it was good. Order complete, and they didn't even forget the jalapenos or anything. They gave it to us all. But yeah, that's been our experience here. Yep, that's been our experience with the chicken. So
And this
our
is
niece,
like becoming the norm. I mean, have you noticed this
yeah,
between
it's
employees fighting with each other? It's like it's become acceptable. And in my eyes, in my book, in my world, it's not.
yeah,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree.
You don't
I
treat
agree.
people that way.
No, absolutely not. And it was sad to see that, and we were just like,
Hmm.
I can't believe this is happening. And our niece has finally banded us from going to any chicken location
Any chicken
to eat
location.
chicken. So chicken is off the list. We're going to all fresh. She's like, nope. She goes, y'all need to just stay home and make your food here.
Oh my
Uh,
God.
but I'm
Couldn't
with
handle it.
you. It's like, why are you so angry? What's going on? It's not fair to the employees that the customers get crazy too. They provoke it, and that they just kind of like are very impatient. We're living in a day and age to where it's instant gratification. It's a now, I
Hmm.
want it now to happen thing, and that's the mentality that I see anyway, in my opinion, with a lot of people. It's like instant
Hmm.
gratification, and that's it's just no, it's not cool. Treat everyone with respect, and yeah, things happen, but you ain't got to get all crazy and all violent and all and hurt people. No, 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 no. Let's cool. Let's cool it down. Let's chill it out. Yeah. I almost went to the back and said, I can help you all. Take some of these orders out. I know how to make chicken. I'll deep fry it, whatever. But yeah,
I'd be like, can we like
yeah, exactly,
om? Let's
exactly.
do
Yep.
Hoona, hoona.
Well, I don't know about that because then if I asked them to sigh, I don't know how that would come out. It'd be like, sigh, and all that, like that lady.
And do a little Cheech and Chong then with the sage.
There you go.
But if you think about it, I mean, you want to talk about energy. I mean, you
Yeah,
think about these places like New York City.
energy.
You know, New
Oh,
York
yeah.
City drives me nuts. I have a hard
Hmm.
time in New York City if I'm there for too long. The
Yeah,
energy is awful. It's off the wall. You go
yeah,
into Walmart, you have all different types of people going in there, all different types of energy. It's residual
yeah,
energy after a while, and it's
definitely.
awful.
Yeah,
And this and
definitely.
it affects people. The
It
same with these
does.
fast food restaurants or anything like that. You get every
Oh,
walk of
yeah.
life in there,
Oh,
and they
yeah.
leave their mark, not just on the tables or the seats. They leave their energy.
Perfect, perfect point to make, and something great observation because that is very true. You know, we our time in New York City when we rode the subways, it we weren't afraid. I mean, it was more how people were treating one another. You know,
Hmm.
and you know, Linda sat in one area and she got stared at and read up and down and stuff, but Linda's no. I mean, yeah, you don't want to cross that path with Linda. She's like, I sat here, you ain't gonna move me. You know, try it. You know, but you know, but we were calm and stuff, and but just going up and down the subways and walking around, and you're right. The residual
Hmm.
energy that is left there, that's a perfect example of when you're doing an investigation at a place
Hmm.
that is allegedly haunted or has a bad rep. That's why you got to take those precautionary steps and measures of
Hmm.
protecting your energy and your vibe and your energetic field so that way it won't get, you know, convoluted with all this
Hmm.
mess and junk and all that sort of deal because it can easily latch onto you. And by the
Oh
time
yeah.
you know it, you're behaving just like them, you know, or whatever they left, you know, or you may be taking home an issue or a problem that's not yours, and
Hmm.
you don't realize it. And that's why I think it's very important for us to recognize these energies, you know, within ourselves, and
Right.
be
Right.
able to call it out and be like, okay, you know what, this is not, you know, and kind of set your boundaries and be like, okay, you know, let's simmer down or whatever. But it's
Hmm.
true, and that's why now when we go out anywhere, we try, we really try to keep our energy field strong. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
just to kind of you know, keep that. Same goes with investigations and things like that, because you just never know what you're
Exactly.
walking into, and you never know who's next to you. And so, yeah, it's really important, and protect yourself in that way, you know, and recognize
Hmm.
the stuff around you. And it's a simple thing to do, and
It is.
you'll know that you're. It's that small, still voice in the pit of of your stomach that will let you know, and
Yep.
that's when you just like, oh, okay, you know, I got to do this. Go into your you
Oh.
know, or you can do the double hook, you know, double hook.
Or the
uh,
deep
yeah,
breath out, right?
the deep breath out. Yeah, yeah. But try to do it calmly though, because you might scare people if you yell it. Like the lady scared me.
Mm.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, she did. I can't wait to scare you when you come up here. I'm good at it. Is he frozen in time again? He's frozen in time. Look at, and the fingers touching his forehead. Look at, it's like it's giving him information. Is he coming back to us? He disappeared. He disappeared.
Hello, hello.
I tell you, that was so funny. Wait a minute. You see the witch's finger?
Oh,
When
yes.
when you locked up, she was like touching your forehead, and you're like this. It was like you like got in trouble
Like,
for being naughty.
one cut up.
Yeah,
Uh-oh, yeah, you see?
it was
She's my little
great.
protector. I apologize for that. Someone was bumped me out by trying to add me to their live feed or something. I don't know how that happened. And it just kicked me out of this one. And I'm like, oh, wait, what's going on? But I'm back. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was really funny.
Baba's been good to me. You see? Yeah. Right, Baba. See?
That's too
Yeah.
funny. That is too
Yeah,
funny.
that
Because it was like
I
touching your forehead. She was like
touched my
touching
forehead like just
your
like, you
forehead.
know.
No, you were back. You were like this. You were like,
Oh,
and she was,
kind of like this.
yeah. It was
Yeah.
really funny.
Oh my God. I can't wait
And I
to
told
look at
everybody,
this.
I said, look at the finger, look at the finger. He's locked up again. I said, but look at the finger.
Wow.
Every
I tell
time he
you,
locked up, I had fun, I have to tell you.
well, there you go. There you go. That's what it's about, right? I hope
Hmm.
everyone's having fun. I'm having a great time. Really, I really am.
It's fun.
Uh,
This is fun.
yeah, it
Wait till
is.
November when I pull all my
Oh,
Lucy stuff and
ooh, it's gonna be
get you.
fun. November, guys. Y'all really got to go check this out. Y'all, go to the website, look up all
Mm.
the fantastic stuff and all the great people that will be there. It's gonna be amazing. And
It
come
is.
by and say hello. Come by and say hello. We'll be there, and
I
I'm gonna
see
do
you
the witch,
online,
and
Mysticon.
I'm doing the witch dance, and I think Renee's gonna do it with me. So if y'all want to see
I
that,
will.
come on over. Come
I
on
will.
over. So there you
I'm two
go.
left feet. I am totally two left feet, so it'll
As
be
as
fun.
am I, as am I. However, I am a good. Well, I probably shouldn't say that, but I am a good twerker, though.
That,
So yeah.
well, you know what they say about fat bottom girls, so that would be me.
Well, I'm a fat bottom boy, and I can work with the best of them. Wait, that didn't come out right. I just
Keeping it
realized wait.
real. Linda's laughing.
She's dying over here. That did not come out right.
Welcome to Renee Live. It's after dark. Anything goes. It's great. Look at the finger.
Oh
Look
my!
at the finger.
Kalila's gonna call me, and she's gonna say, "What in the heck was that?"
Look at the
Oh,
finger. Look at, I wish you could see. Can you see yourself when you move what the finger
yeah,
does?
yeah. I can't. I can, but I can't. I'm like, yeah. The
It's
finger.
hysterical.
The finger is the whatchamacallit, is the scene stealer of the show tonight, I guess.
Oh, that's too funny.
Yep. Oh, you're stealing my
Oh,
spot. You're stealing my thunder. But that's
also,
a good.
also what I think of is a Christmas story. You'll shoot your eye out, but you'll poke your eye out with that thing.
Yeah, I know, right? And luckily I'm this far, but in the video it looks like I can just kind of,
Almost like it was gonna go in your ear.
I know, right? It's like, okay, there it goes. See? I can do so many things with video. I tell you what. Right,
Don't show
Baba.
that to Maya. It wouldn't
No,
be good.
oh,
Don't
she'll
show
start
that to
laughing.
Maya.
Maya was having fun last night. That was so sweet to hear her laugh. That was so nice. I love hearing
It's
children
all
laugh.
about
So,
the farts.
so
All about the
sweet.
farts.
So sweet. I tell you what, it's like that with the boys too. It is exactly like that. Oh my God.
You know,
But
she is
I
all about. You hear the word fart, and she just falls apart, and she. Our house is
she
not
did. She
normal. We're
did. She
not
did.
right.
She did. Hey, Jody. Jody talks about that a lot too.
Jody, you talk about farts too?
She does. Yeah, she does.
Alan does too.
Oh my God, I don't know what is it, but oh well. If it makes you
Mhm.
laugh, there you go.
We're gonna
Um,
have
um,
to test that out on the thermal imaging camera.
oh my God.
I'm not gonna do it. Are you gonna volunteer to do it?
No.
Linda volunteered.
Linda said she'll volunteer. Linda's our volunteer. She already she put herself in there. So there
We'll
you go.
reenact the Saturday Night Live episode.
Oh yeah, right. That'll be
We'll
cool.
film
That'll
it
be
and we'll
funny.
send it. We'll send it to Alan and see what Alan says.
Oh my God. He'll be like, Linda, what? Nah, he'll get a kick out of it. I'm sure that boy ain't innocent. That boy's funny. That man is funny. But
Oh,
yeah,
God.
so I tell you, it's crazy. Well, you know what? I'm excited that fall is in the air, autumn's in the air. It's cooling down. The temperatures are going down. And I don't know, I feel that I tend to be more productive during the fall, autumn, winter months than I am during summertime. And so it's almost as if there's just a whole change happens spiritually and everything else. And I'm just a little more open to things and more productive. How do you feel about that, Renee? Do you
I'm
feel
more
like
spunky. I'm more, yeah, I'm more open. I'm more spunky. I enjoy the fall months and a little bit cooler, not total winter, but I mean, I am more productive. I am more productive because it's not hot. It's not like draining.
Yeah, exactly.
And I relate it, excuse me. I relate it to growing up. When I grew up with horses. My grandfather had race horses.
Oh, nice.
And so they were right there, and every morning and every day I would go out and spend time with them. And there's one who she would get really frisky in the fall. You could see it, and she would
Yeah,
get a little sparkle in her eye, and so we'd run back and forth. I'd run back and forth with the fence, and she'd run back and forth with me, and she'd kick up, and then she'd stop, and she'd turn around, and she'd look at me, and then I'd run the other way, and she'd run with me, and we always played these games, but it was always in the fall, in the winter, that she was just really, spunky and full of it and frisky, and that's how I kind of feel. I feel that I am more productive during that time, that I'm not is feeling like so weighted or tired, and
absolutely.
because the heat, I don't do good with real hot heat.
No, nor
I
do
mean, I
I.
really don't. And my girlfriend was like, I told her, I said, I can't handle real hot heat. And my body doesn't like it. And she's like, oh, come on. And she saw it and she was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I was like, I'm telling you, I can't. I need to be in the mountains away from the real intense heat. Put me in the mountains and life will be good.
I
You
agree.
know, I can run
totally agree
naked with
with
the wildlife. No, I won't. I would never do that. But,
that.
well,
Yeah,
maybe I
you
would. I don't
would.
know.
Oh, yeah, you would.
Probably.
There
As
you
long as
go.
I had
See?
no neighbors.
There you go. You see, you're in a rural, nice place. Yeah. No, I tend to agree with that because, just investigating in the summertime is, oh my God, it can be intense, especially if they're homes or places that don't have central or those, those empty, dilapidated buildings or hospitals that don't have any air going through. Those are just, they were hard to get through, through the night. And so wintertime is just like, it's like, okay, I can do this. It's just like, it's just a whole nice feel. I love it. I love it. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward. I hope it comes a little earlier. Do you think it's going to come early? I think so. I hope so.
Yeah, I think it's going to be earlier. I actually almost feel you guys are going to see some snow up here.
Oh, nice. We didn't get to see any last year. Not much. Anyway, not in our area, but the surrounding areas got some, but not as much as the year before. That's why we had that big old snow blizzard. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be cool.
Here, it's all
Is
right.
that
Here.
your kitty? Which one's that one? Oh, is that? Oh, hello there. How are you?
Come here. Come in here more.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you doing, sweetie? Oh, she's so sweet. Oh, I love that laugh. How
Did you
are
hear
you?
him?
Good.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Maya.
Look at you.
No, you can't borrow my phone. I'm using my phone at the moment. No, I can't. But Victor wants to know. Come here a minute.
Uh-oh.
Come here. Come here. I gotta whisper something to you. Watch this. Did you fart today? Yeah.
There's that laugh. There you go. Look at that. That is priceless. That is priceless. Wonderful. So sweet. Oh my God.
I may regret this.
You got something going down. Look at that. That laughter is good to hear. It's good to hear. She's so sweet. So sweet. Adorable. Adorable. Look at her.
Can I go inside after the show?
Nice to meet you.
He said bye. Bye.
And she laughed. And she laughed because she knows.
Okay, pull it tight. Pull the door tight.
Very
Pull
sweet.
it tight. Pull it tight. Okay, thank you. She did the deed.
Ah, well, there you go. Ba-dum-bum, and there you go.
Jesus.
Oh my gosh, this has been it's been awesome. Yeah, did you see her? Oh,
Yeah.
she's sweet. Yeah, Linda says she's beautiful. Very sweet,
Thank you.
very sweet girl.
I'm gonna get her up there that weekend so you guys can all meet her in person.
Yeah, we'd
I know
love to.
Kalila would like that. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
She's probably gonna get too many hugs from me. I hope she doesn't run away from me.
Yeah, Linda's like
What
she's gonna
was
get
that?
lots of hugs. Linda says she's gonna give her lots of hugs. I hope she doesn't run away from me because I give lots of
she
hugs
won't.
from Linda.
She won't.
I chase.
Yeah.
I do that to my twin.
Just use the keyword, so you'll be just fine.
I know.
But it's been cool. I love what we're doing. Just nice free flow talking about whatever comes to mind. But then it kind of goes back to your paranormal stuff and well, it is paranormal. It's things that are not normal. But so we have the November thing. We do have to let folks know the prequel coming out soon.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the prequel to. Yes, it's called Blood and Mortar, right?
Yeah, the blood of the mortar.
Of the mortar.
Yeah, Blood of the Mortar. And as we speak, a book cover is being decided. Book trailer we worked on a little bit today. And also the announcements and stuff like that. So all the last minute tweaks. It'd been incubating for some time. I wasn't in any rush to put it out there because I wanted to, really get myself immersed into the fundamentals of writing, and learning from all these great author friends of mine and colleagues. And they've been absolutely wonderful in sharing their knowledge with me. And so it's going to be very cool. Again, it kind of picks up and takes you back, further back to where an ominous evil happens, So it's going to be pretty cool. I'm excited.
I'm excited wait for it to come out.
Yeah, me neither. I'm like, I want to put that up. And Lynn and I are working on a project as well to where we will be co-writing together, her and I. And it will be a non-fictional book, and it'll be sharing all detailed experiences from our POVs on the paranormal and our adventures and our journeys. And that way people can get to know us a little more, and enjoy and kind of relate and stuff like that. So I think that'll be very cool because we both went through the same things, but we both had different, we were on different sides. Being a husband and being a wife, you take on different, things during that moment in time. And so that's going to be really cool to work on. And so we have that coming up also. So just lots of cool things for all of you guys, and I hope everyone enjoys. I hope everybody likes, and and even if you don't, that's cool. That's cool anyway. But
all
you
good.
Will. It's all good.
It's all good. They will. They'll love it.
Good. Yeah, and
they'll love it. And we're going to be doing a lot of Facebook Lives in November. Trust me, at this event, we're gonna You're going to see more laughter and fun, and
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
parts of the investigation will be on Facebook, and
Ooh, I like that. That's gonna be
yeah,
fun.
It's a little
That's
bit
not
funny.
all of it because people are paying to be on there. So, to
yeah,
be on the investigation. So I don't
absolutely.
put the
Yeah,
whole investigation, just little bits and pieces.
yeah, yeah.
You
Of
know,
course, absolutely. And again, the seance room will be there, so it's gonna be fun.
it'll be
It's going to be
fun.
fun. A great collaboration. Great, yeah. It's gonna be a great
Yeah,
time had. And
it will
but
be.
yes, Blood of the Mortar will be out, and also don't forget there is the short story Ornaments Bleed Red for the holidays. For during Christmas time. So that was a novella that I kind of just dabbled with, and something's going to come from that. And it's an interesting story, and it deals with the power of the powwow, and not the Native American Indian powwow, but the Berks, Pennsylvania powwow
Oh,
folk magic. And so that book
okay.
it is fictional, and the story is quite interesting, and so it's pretty cool. So yeah, go out there, and for those that want a little Christmas, I know it's too early to
Mhm.
talk about Christmas, but it's a Christmas horror short story, and they get to learn a little bit.
They can order your books at your website, correct, Victor?
Absolutely, not on the website, but through Amazon.
Through Amazon.
Yeah, they can go to the my website, and they'll find the link there, I believe, and
Why is that?
it'll take you to the Amazon, and you
Okay.
can order from there. I really wanted to, if I may, give a shout out to the person that narrated the audio for An Honest Evil, Mr. Lee Allen. Mr. Lee Allen is called the voice from Detroit, and the reason it's called The Voice was because he played saxophone, and he also did a radio show way back in the day with all the greats, all the greats of Motown. And you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about the Supremes and just everybody and anybody around that time. He had a hand in meeting and connecting with these great people and working with some and stuff like that. He's called The Voice, Mr. Lee Allen, and he's the one that did the audio to An Honest Evil, and he did a great job. He really, really did. He kind of gave it that 70s feel, to it, and just really, really cool. His voice is real deep, and they called him The Voice. So I just wanted to thank him and give him a shout out for doing that. He did an
Nice.
amazing, amazing job. And for those
And
of you that don't,
I just put your website in the chat room.
oh, thank you.
VictorSalazar.com. It's
Yes.
ViktorSalazar.com.
Yes,
Um,
and there's some great stuff now in there. There's a little more content, and I'm working on putting on more. There's several blogs in there that now you can sign up and read. There's interaction chat room also now. So if you want to get hold of me, you can definitely go to the page, and I'm there. We can sit and chat, whatever it is, and yeah, hit me up,
nice.
stalk me.
So before stalk me, well, that's what everybody's been doing tonight. They're like stalkers. They can actually see us. They can watch us.
They can
This
see
is this is good.
every move we
They're
make.
eavesdroppers. I mean, when I was on the radio, they were eavesdroppers. Now they're stalkers because they can see us, and it's all good.
Yeah,
It's all
it's all
good.
good. It's all good. We welcome. We welcome
But
it. Yes, ma'am.
before we go, you made a mistake earlier of saying something that you do.
Oh, let me think. Sing? Oh no. Oh no. Uh-oh. So what does that mean? Yes, I do sing. Yes.
Sing to
I
me.
sing
Sing to
to you.
everybody.
Sing to
Yeah.
everybody. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Talk about putting me on the spot.
I
Uh,
know, right? It could be
God.
worse. It could be worse.
Let's see. Well, what do you want to hear?
I don't know, whatever you want to sing.
Uh, someone in the chat room think of something. Throw me a song. What am I feeling right now? Well, I can't sing that one because that's the wedding song. Oh my
He's
God.
feeling I'm gonna kill Renee.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. How about oh, that's a good song. Uh, okay, I'll sing this one. Oh my God, I hope I can sing this. Okay, it's a really cool song. I don't know if many not have heard it, but I love the
You don't have to
words.
sing it all. Just sing us some
No,
of
I
it.
kn-
That's all.
I know it's not the voice, but I there ain't no Christina Aguilera back there. I know that. There's Renee Marie. Just do one lyric. Okay. There I was just waiting in that old familiar place, that empty spot beside you, where once I used to wait, to be filled with strength and wisdom for the battles of the day. I would have passed them by again, but I clearly heard you say, I miss my time with you, those moments together. I love you more and more each day, and it hurts me when you say, too busy, busy trying to serve me. And I'll just leave it at that. I miss my time with you. So call your mama, call your daddy, call your sister, call your brother, and let them know you love them and you miss their time with them. When they're gone, they're gone. So yeah,
Yay! That was great.
yeah. I'm
You
gonna.
did
That
awesome.
was embarrassed. I wasn't warmed up, Renee.
It's all right. I character build. You know that. You don't want me to sing. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
I don't mind. I didn't
Plants
mind.
wilt. Children cry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Picture Lucille Ball singing. Yeah.
I love Lucille Ball.
I do too. I do too.
Oh my God, she's awesome.
Well,
She's
my
amazing.
friend, thank you so much
Yes,
for tonight. It was so much fun. I loved the conversation, the laughter,
it was
everything
awesome.
about it. You know,
Thank
it was fun. That finger is amazing. You know, I know.
you. Baba Yaga stole the show. So no, thank you very much for having me. Thank you for tolerating my goofiness, and and it was a great show. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed everyone in
Thank
the
you.
chat room. Thank you all for having me once again.
And I like doing it this way on Facebook Live because everybody can see it. And then I put it on YouTube within a week. And,
There you go.
you know, and it's just, I like this. It keeps it real.
It does. It
It
does.
real.
It's very cool. It keeps it real and it keeps it going. And but
It
yeah,
does.
thank you guys for joining us tonight. And thank you,
I
Renee.
know you guys were awesome. Thank you so much. I love everybody. And next week, we're going to be talking quantum physics. So make sure
That's gonna
you
be
tune
good.
in because we're going to try to keep it as simple as possible for everybody to understand. But a little quantum physics and multiverses and everything else next week. So, all right. Thank you. I love
Awesome.
you.
Love you too. Good night, everyone.
Good night.